this is the thing that people don't understand about Oswald. Kennedy was killed in November. In April, he tried to kill a presidential candidate named General Walker, who was a stone racist, anti-communist, was going to run for president. Oswald was at a barbecue, and he asked the guy, what would you do if it was Hitler? And he goes, I would kill him before he ever became Hitler. He stalks General Walker, takes pictures, everything, stalks him, right? He writes a letter to his wife in a room that he told her, never go in this room unless I never come home. So he's late because he took a shot at General Walker, but it missed. But she goes in the room, and it has in Russian, look, I shot General Walker. The police are here. They're not like the KGB in Russia, so don't worry about it. But he missed. He hit it. He hit the windshield. He hit the mark on the window, and he just got hit with some shrapnel. So Marina, his wife, is like, I got to get this fucking nut out of here. And she moves in. She goes to New Orleans, and it's a hotbed of anti-Castro Cubans, and he gets in trouble and gets arrested. She goes, I'm leaving. She leaves back to Dallas. She goes to live with a woman who speaks Russian. So Lee Harvey Oswald's like, I'm stuck, man. I'm fucking broke. He goes back to Dallas. She gets him the job at the depository in April, right? Now he shows up every Friday to see her and the kids. Every Friday. Weird thing is, the parade route is written on Tuesday in the newspaper. He read day-old papers because he was so cheap. He went to the cafeteria and read day-old papers. Published on Tuesday. He reads them on Wednesday. He shows up unannounced at his wife's house. What are you doing here on Thursday? Well, I want you and the baby back. I got the job at the depository. I think we can make it. She goes, not this time, Lee. You're too much of a nut. Asked 4 times for her to get back together. She says no. She always says, if I got back together with him, he would have never done it. But that morning, so he shows unannounced on Friday. I want you back. It doesn't happen. He takes his wedding ring off on Friday, $47, all the money he has in the world, writes a note, buys some shoes for Junie, his little girl, and he wraps his rifle, who he had in the garage at that lady's house, and took it to work. Now, he's waiting for Kennedy, right, because he's going to be the man. He's going to be the man, right?
Right.
So, he waits for Kennedy to turn the corner, but he misses the first shot. You got to see the Zapruder film, because Connolly, the guy in front of Kennedy, hears a shot and looks over his right shoulder. Doesn't think much of it. But there's a little girl running next to the limo. She stops dead. And she told the FBI, I stopped dead and looked right up the window at that guy shooting Kennedy. So he misses the first shot. They always say, oh, he couldn't do 6 shots in 3 seconds. He didn't. He had almost 9 seconds to do it because he misses the first shot. Now the second shot definitely hits both of them, because when it hits Kennedy's throat, it's called a yaw. This particular bullet spins as it comes out of Kennedy's neck and went in Connolly sideways. Now, no other assassin, if there was another assassin shooting Connolly, he couldn't have shot a guy in the side bullet. It had to come out of Kennedy. Connolly was sitting 6 inches further, because JFK movie, the movie Oliver Stone. Oh, it went through Kennedy, it went to the right, it waited a second and a half, and then hit Connolly. Bullshit. It went through Kennedy's throat, and who's it going to hit? The guy in front of him. Connolly was sitting in a jump seat, 6 inches over, 3 inches down, and if you look at the Zapruder film, he's turned to the right. If you follow that entrance wound from Connolly, that keyhole entrance wound, because it went in the side after it spun out of Kennedy, You follow that, it goes right through Kennedy, from Connally through Kennedy to the 6th floor. So that's not a magic bullet theory. It's a magic bullet fact. Now, the reason why there's conspiracy theory is because Ruby shot Oswald, right? Now, here's Jack Ruby sitting in his apartment, right? A hooker who he owns strip clubs calls him and says, Jack, can you do me a favor? Can you go down to Western Union and send me $25 so I can make my rent? He goes, okay. He brings his dog. What assassin brings his dog? If he's going to shoot an assassin, who brings his dog? And sitting in Western Union. He's sitting in Western Union 2 minutes before he killed Oswald, who was already supposed to be gone, but Oswald asked for a change of clothes. He goes, I've been in this shirt for 2 days, and I have a change of clothes. So it took about an hour to change his clothes, right? So Ruby stances Western Union 2.5 minutes. He walks out, walks right next door to the police station, and he asks the reporters, what's going on? They're bringing Oswald down. Now, he told his rabbi, when he came out of the elevator, he had this smirk on his face. And he goes, and I didn't want Mrs. Kennedy to go through a trial. So I shot him. And he didn't even pump bullets in him. He only shot him once. It just happened to hit an artery. If he really was going to be assassin of the assassin, he would have pumped 6 bullets in him. But he only pumped one. But it happened to hit an artery, and he died. And he told his rabbi, I swear on this Bible, I had nothing to do with that. I was at Western Union. I walked in. I thought the guy was already gone. And this is the thing. The guy that was tied up to Oswald, the guy that was chained, he's got a Stetson hat on. There's a famous picture when Ruby shoots Oswald. You see the guy kind of surprised because he's attached to Oswald. He said when he was coming down the elevator, he goes, well, Lee, I hope if anyone takes a shot at you, they're as good a shot as you. And Oswald goes, oh, don't worry about it. No one's going to take a shot at me. And he might have been smirking when he opened the elevator door.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Ruby was like, yeah, motherfucker. You know, because Ruby loved Kennedy because it was like he came in this country. You know, he came from Europe, a Jew. He gave him his benefit to own strip clubs. All the cops knew him, so they just let him in. You know what I mean? And that's it. And this is the thing. The FBI didn't even know he took a shot at that guy until they interviewed Marina. And she was like, well, you know, he shot that guy Walker. He tried to kill that guy Walker. And they're like, what? He's the guy that did that? Oswald was already buried when the FBI found out, wow, he's the guy. Because, check it out, Oswald ran home, turned on the thing, and they were like, a black sedan was seen speeding from the scene. And he laughed at Marina, and he goes, Americans are so lazy, they all think they own cars. I don't own a car. And I took a shot at the guy and ran home. He just wanted, and the thing was, he wasn't even a communist. He was a socialist. You know, when he went to Russia, and they said you can't stay here, and he made a half attempt at suicide. They were like, we can't have an American Marine die here. All right, we'll get you a job fixing radios in Minsk. So here he is, like the typical Russian worker, fixing radios. You had your own apartment. They gave you your own apartment, which is bugged. You know what I mean? And he was disillusioned. He's like, this ain't what I thought communism was. So he asked to go back. And when he went back, his brother was like, man, Lee was like, where's all the reporters? He had all his notes on how he was going to answer, because he really was a bright guy. He really was a bright guy. If you listen to the interview in New Orleans with a guy who was pro-Castro, which was Oswald, and this other guy, anti-Castro. Castro is really smart. His line we should have done. We should have made diplomatic ties with Cuba. And his argument was brilliant. And we should have done it to this day, 'cause look what's happening. Now Trump's like, we're taking our guys out of Cuba. Those people are living so poor. And if we open up our trade, they're going to know the United States was involved. They're going to know that they made their lives 100 times, 1,000,000 times better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. So check it out. Okay, so check it out. Now, the body, it wasn't illegal to shoot the president. It wasn't a federal crime to shoot the president at that time, right? So the body's there at Dallas, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Secret Service goes, well, Mrs. Kennedy, she's not allowed to fly on Air Force One. She's not part of the family anymore. And Johnson goes, I'm not sending her with her bloody dress on United Airlines. She's coming with me on Air Force One, right? And she goes, well, I'm not leaving without my husband. So these guys, what are we going to do? Well, let's just take the body to Washington. Now, the coroner from Dallas comes and says, whoa, this is my crime scene. This is a Dallas crime scene. You guys aren't going anywhere with this, right? And there were guns drawn. They were like going to shoot it out, And the Secret Service, and the Secret Service won, and they said, we'll take them on Air Force One. They had to break down part of the plane to fit it in because they weren't going to put them in the cargo hold. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's all happenstance. Now they bring him to Bethesda Naval Hospital, right? Because he was a Navy guy, right? And these guys never did an autopsy on a death before, right? They go, oh, well, here's a trach here. Well, it wasn't a trach. It was the wound, but they just opened it to make a trach to put an air hole. But it was already the wound that he got from the shot from the back of the neck. These guys didn't even know it. Yeah. It's total happenstance. It's total people like, you got to be fucking kidding me. You know what I mean? So it does look like conspiracy because of all the bumbling they did, But it has nothing to do. It's a simple fact that Oswald was, and I knew it as a kid, because I said, wait a minute, he used a $19 rifle to kill the president, and you're supposed to be the main assassin of a president. You know what I mean? You're going to use a $19 rifle? Right there, I was like, something suspicious. And then I saw the ad that he got it from. It was the cheapest rifle on the ad in Sears Roebuck. He could have had a 30-round clip and just bam, 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 and killed him. But he was cheap, So he said, well, I'll do the $12 rifle with the $7 scope. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, everything was happenstance. Even his brother was like, let me tell you something. If our country was communist, my brother would have been a capitalist because he just wanted to agitate. His mother was like, you guys are a burden to me. I wish you were never born. He was in all kinds of orphanages. He was the psychopathic killer. He was Mark David Chapman. He was John Wilkes Booth, who never fought for the Confederacy. Wanted to, but never did. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's the perfect mythological. And especially because he shot that guy in April and wrote a note in Russian. If I get caught, this is where I am, blah, 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 blah.
So of the conspiracy theories, the most prominent one, I guess, is the multiple shooters in the grassy knoll. So why isn't it the multiple? What are the bullet points of why it's not multiple shooters?
I'll tell you a perfect example. Okay, watch the Zapruder film. The very last frame, the car goes under the underpass. Stop it right there because there's a little fence. Abraham Zapruder standing right next to the grassy knoll. You don't think if some guy shot, he would have been like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? He's standing right next to the grassy knoll. Even he said there were 3 shots coming from the top.
Yeah.
Had no grassy knoll anything. He's standing on top of the thing overlooking the grassy knoll. Watches the Zapruder film. And this is the key, man, right? The limo driver gave Oswald the best shot at the headshot. He always said, I looked back, I saw Kennedy in trouble, and I sped up. He doesn't. He does a double take, and you can see it plain as day. Watch it in real time, and then do the slow motion. Watch it in real time, because the car's going, and all of a sudden it kind of slows down right at the headshot, because him and the guy in front they look back, and then they do a double take right at the headshot, and you see them as the headshot happens, both of them duck. They duck. They go, whoa, like that, and then they speed up. He always said, I sped up as soon as he was in trouble. Bullshit. He took his foot off the gas at the headshot, unintentionally. But when he looked back, and Kennedy's all grabbing his throat, which he's not grabbing his throat, by the way. It's called the Thornburg position. It clipped his spine, and he would have been like that for the rest of his life. He would have been with his arms raised for the rest of his life. But the headshot released him. He was hitting the spine when it went through his neck, and finally he was hitting the spine. Because this is the thing. The first book to come out said 6 seconds in Dallas. And that's the thing. They don't realize he missed the first shot. He had like 8-9 seconds to make that shot. But he misses the first one. But with the first book, because they didn't see the Zapruder film. They didn't release the Zapruder film until '72, when Geraldo Rivera had these conspiracy nuts on and released the tape. But the simple fact is, you see it plain as day. He misses the first shot. Watch the little girl. She stops and looks right up at the depository. Not only that, the other guy who actually ID'd Oswald, he watched him do it and said he had a smirk on his face, like he smiled. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah,
and he's the guy that ID'd Oswald. He's the only guy that left work. He took a bus and a cab home to the room that he rented, picked up his pistol, started walking. A cop saw a guy. Hey, he fits the description. Cop gets out of the car, boom, he executes him and shoots him in the face while he's on the ground. He killed 2 people that day, a cop and Kennedy. And they all got buried on the same day. Kennedy, the cop, and Oswald, all on the same day.
Oh, wow, I didn't know. I forgot that he killed the cop.
Yeah, right in his face. Not only that, there was like 9 people that, but there's this conspiracy theorist, Robert Groden, who has convinced Maria Oswald that his husband didn't do it. Now she doesn't believe he did it. You know what I mean? He's that into her head. You know, what a shame. She knew what a nut he was.
Yeah.
And she was hot, too. Marina was hot.
Oh, she was?
Yeah, she was, man. She had really nice lips, really nice skin, and you know what? If they would have kept it in Dallas and didn't bring his body back to 2 naval guys who never did a gunshot in their life. If you got a pen and pencil, if you do, I want you to write this down.
I'm driving right now. I'm pulling up to my house in about 3 minutes.
Okay. All right. I'll let you go.
Yeah.
Tell Ryan to call me, and I'll shoot him down like the Red Baron.
I'm gonna send this to him.
All right.
All right. I'll be fine.
All right, man. We'll end it
with Oswald's wife was pretty hot.